First of all, it's okay to present myself. I'm Assistant Lecturer Zahraa Adnan Fadhil from Iraq, teaching in Islamic University Department of English. So my presentation today is entitled Investigating the Difficulties Faced by Iraqi EFL Learners in Using Light Verbs. Okay. Yes. The outline intended to be presented during the presentation, including a brief introduction about the topic, talking about the terminology, definition, and structure of light verbs, then making it clear the relationship between light verbs and collocations, moving to talk about the practical side of the study represented by the data collection and the analysis, finalizing the presentation with the concluding remarks. So this study deals with light verb constructions as being syntactically functional and semantically bleached. It aims at investigating the difficulties faced by Iraqi EFL learners, specifically fourth-year university students, in recognizing and producing this kind of constructions. What do you mean by light verbs? The light verbs have a particular combination of syntactic and semantic properties, making it difficult to class them either with function words or with proper lexical verbs. However, this doesn't mean that they cannot be classified. On the contrary, they have been considered as a class in their own type or in their own right. If we talk morphologically about the light verbs, we can say that the light verb is inflected, but the following noun phrase tends to have a fixed number and a preference for determiner type. That is to say, for example, in the light verb construction, make amends, here the verb make can be inflected. That is to say, we can say made amends, making amends, makes amends if the subject is singular. However, the noun amends cannot be in the singular form. That is to say, we cannot say makes or made amend. Okay, it is fixed. We can pre-modify or post-modify the noun. However, we cannot change its form. Syntactically speaking, the light verb construction is highly flexible in the sense that the verb could be put in the passive form. For example, an offer was made. We can say that an offer was made. So you see here, we can put the verb into the passive form. And at the same time, the noun could be modified in the sense that make an irresistible offer, to make an irresistible offer. Light verbs offer a wide range of expressive possibilities than many proper lexical verbs. Here, instead of saying to offer something, we are going to offer more expressive possibilities in saying making an offer. As far as the term is concerned, it was first coined by Jespersen when he applied it to the English construction verb plus a noun phrase, as in, for example, give a sigh, have a rest, take a breath, etc. They are said to be light. Why they are called light? Because the bulk of the semantic content is carried almost entirely in the noun phrase that follows. However, this doesn't mean that they are completely devoid of semantic predicative content. Rather, they appear to be semantically light. So here we cannot say that light verbs have no meaning or they are empty. However, they are light. They have a syntactic function in the sentence as a whole. The semantic roles are ascribed to the following noun in an attempt to make the light verb functioning properly in the predication as a whole, or in the predicate, sorry, as a whole. However, these possibilities or light verb constructions have inspired research in different languages, and it leads to different definitions. So scholars have defined light verbs from different perspectives. However, we are going to see that they agree on one point. As far as Leach is concerned, he defined a light verb as a common and versatile lexical verb that is weak in many of its uses and can be combined with nouns in constructions such as do the cleaning, give someone a hug, have a drink, make a decision, take a break, etc. The whole construction often seems equivalent to the use of a single verb. That is to say, when we say make a decision, it means to decide, which is the equivalent lexical verb. As for Crystal, he defines a light verb as a verb whose meaning is so unspecific. That's why it needs a complement to function effectively as a predicate. As for Wittenberg, a light verb is a complex predicate in which the verb is semantically bleached and merely represents the aspect of the predicate. For example, when we say she gave her teacher an answer, here we are not transferring possession to the object teacher. Okay. On the contrary, here we are the eventive nominal answer is part of the predicate, giving or assigning semantic roles to the subject, just like the non-light verb give. Now we move to the wider or the most wide, the widest definition, sorry, by Huddleston and Fulham, who points out that light verbs are semantically light in the sense that their contribution to the meaning of the predication is relatively small in comparison with that of their complements. So out of these definitions, we can see that all the linguists agree upon the fact that light verbs are light because they do not carry the bulk of the meaning. On the contrary, the meaning is carried or is assigned by the following noun phrase. If we come to the structure of the light verbs, we can say that light verbs are syntactically functional, followed by a noun phrase which is verbalized differently. We're going to see that the noun phrase is the following noun phrase is going to take different forms. However, in general, we can say that in all cases, it is an eventive noun. The light verb is in the construction V plus MP is known as a helping predication. For instance, he is having a rest. He is having a rest. Here, in this sentence, the structure having a rest doesn't mean to own a rest, okay? But the noun phrase is used predicatively by virtue of being the complement of the light verb have, which is responsible for the syntax and the semantics of the complex predicates. However, the verb is light. The verb is light. The noun phrase as well, in addition to being a verbal noun, could be the verbal noun derived through different derivational processes like suffixation, stress shifts, changes of the stem, etc. It could also be described as a pseudo-expanded predicate carries to most of the semantic lead of the predicate, which is the most recurrent point throughout the study, and it is highly emphasized. The light verb can be completed by a markedly different nominal complement. So here we have a nominal complement, just like when we say do somebody's homework, sorry, which means to work. Have a heart attack, which means to attack. For the noun, it could also be an abstract noun and a phrasal modifier of the noun carrying most of the content of the sentence. As in, John made the claim that he was happy. So here the claim is an abstract noun and it is modified by the phrasal modifier that he was happy, which carries extra meaning. The noun phrase in this construction, that is to say, light verb constructions, can be modified in a way that is not allowed for the corresponding simple verb. So this is one of the justifications why we may resort to light verbs other than the proper or the simple lexical verb, because sometimes we need to modify the noun and the simple lexical verb cannot accept such a modification. For example, she gave him a well-earned pat on the back. You see, in the light verb construction, we can use such a modification. However, if we use the simple lexical verb, we cannot say so. That is to say, it is unacceptable or ungrammatical to say a sentence like that. She patted him on the back well-earnedly. It is something unacceptable. The other privilege is that it allows for conflicting adverbs that are not available to the corresponding simple verb. For instance, the man's wings slowly gave a quick flap. So this is also acceptable with light verb constructions, and it is not with the simple lexical verb. We cannot say the man's wings slowly flapped quickly. This is something unacceptable and considered ungrammatical. Now we know that verb and noun combinations are of different kinds. Collocations, specifically lexical collocations, is one of them. So what do we mean by lexical collocation? It can be defined as a habitual co-occurrence of individual lexical items. Among the common collocations are those of, that is to say, lexical collocations are those of light verb and a noun, sorry, where the former is in the given sense to some degree arbitrarily restricted to certain nouns, usually derived from verbs. That is to say, there is no rule that governs the relationship or the kind of collocation between the verb and its noun. It is done to a certain extent arbitrarily. For example, we have the verb do collocates with the noun dance and dive. Do a dance, do a dive, do a left or right turn, do a report, do a sketch, etc. The verb get also has a certain group of nouns that collocates with. The same thing is applicable to the rest of the light verbs. Now we move to the practical side of the study, data collection and analysis. The data collection instruments include a test of 2 questions. One of them is at the recognition level, consisting of an MCQ question that investigates the knowledge of Iraqi EFL university students of light verbs. The other question is at the performative level, or it investigates the use of the Iraqi EFL university students of light verbs. To achieve
So sorry to interrupt you. Just I want to say that I will be very thankful if you conclude in 1 minute, as there is one more presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay, I will. So as far as out of what has been presented, we can infer the following. The results of the first question show that the correct responses are much less than the correct ones, which means that the Iraqi EFL learners face a serious difficulty at the recognition level. And we have seen that the verbs offer do when followed by an evented noun, the students face the most difficulty in recognizing such verbs. The results of the second question also show that the correct responses are much less than the incorrect ones, which means that the students also face difficulty in producing or in using these verbs. On the whole, we can conclude that the students face more difficulty producing the light verb constructions than recognizing them. That's all concerning this study. I wish you have made use of, and thank you very much for giving me this chance in participating in your conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your good presentation. Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Baldwin.